I couldn't keep looking at the wider battle. With Amadeus on the ground, my place was with him. Tiberia's duty was the same. We brought our probes in closer to our master, each one within bolt gun range, splitting our attention between immediate threats in his vicinity and outward threats from afar. Sniper team, 15 degrees north, 3rd Merlon alongside the broken battlements, Nova Skier platoon pinned under heavy fire, 40 yards north-northeast, to your right, in the ruins, Exarchy officer, armed with an energized blade. A constant flow of warnings and awareness, streaming into his ears. He'd trained for this. This was how he waged war. He acknowledged neither of us as we spoke in ceaseless, overlapping murmurs, yet he reacted to everything we said. His bolter kicked and banged. His blade rose and fell, bit and tore. We weren't defenseless, even at this distance. Our servo skulls were armed with needlers, spitting las darts over Amadeus' shoulders into foes he couldn't turn to face, risking brief drifts from his side to track and cut down any enemy stalking from other directions. When Amadeus reloaded, in a moment of stolen silence, Tiberia and I still fed him the continual whisper of data from our probes. Even some of the spears kept glancing his way, unused to the way he fought in brotherless focus, aware of every threat, eager for every target. His warcraft was no revelation to us. This was what we trained for, and I'd perform the same duty for other Mentor Legion officers on every deployment. Tiberia, on her first deployment, also had a week of field experience, now to add to her years of battle simulation training. She was as icy as any veteran helot. I saw more than one spear lose precious seconds, taken aback by my master's unending awareness of the battle around him. The spears fought as brothers, as a unit, moving in harmony and watching out for one another, as warriors have done since conflict was the brutal simplicity of shield walls and phalanxes at the very dawn of war. Amadeus fought alone, always moving, never taken by surprise, with his senses open to 100 things he couldn't see, simply because we could. The Mentors are a successor chapter of the Ultramarines. Sired during the 26th founding of 738.M41, their heraldry and designation as Chapter 888 was inherited from the legacy of a fallen creed of the prior 25th Bastion founding. Their forebears, the Star Scorpions, ravaged by gene seed mutation and lost within the tides of the warp, the now renegade warband returned to the material realm known simply as the Pure. The imperial homeworld of the Star Scorpions, Kamun Sen, was purged by their brethren of the Astartes Velari. To this day, the Emperor's Spears and Celestial Lions remain distrustful of the Mentor's Legion for bearing the colors of their fallen brethren. Unable to stabilize the Star Scorpion's gene seed, regardless of the toil of several Magi Biologist chem architects, the 888th chapter was reconstituted from ultramarine genetic stock gleaned from Holy Terror's gene laboratories. Known far and wide as the Mentoring Legion, this enigmatic chapter is mistrustful of other Astartes creeds and imperial institutions. Concealing the location of their chapter homeworld, deployments and intentions, the Mentoring Legion train each Astartes in all manner of extensive military strategies using an array of weapons and technologies. Retaining a training cadre upon their homeworld as they dispatch individual Astartes far and wide across the stars, the Mentors tend to vulnerabilities within the myriad branches of Imperial outposts. Though the chapter fields 10-man squads, often split into battle groups of 5 Astartes, as outlined by the Codex Astartes, all squad members are veterans, known as tutors. Appointing no sergeants to their command hierarchy, every tutor is capable of leading their squad. Their progression to the fold of the elite cadres, honing their specialization in bespoke strategies. Mastering demolition, reconnaissance, infiltration, and commando tactics, such veterans of the Elite First Company are deployed only to the most crucial engagements threatening the Imperium. Seconding individuals of the elite cadre to aid planetary defense forces, Astra Militarum regiments, and other Astartes chapters, the Emperor's Holy Inquisition favor such capable Astartes due to their peerless skill at arms, knowledge of military science, and keen eye for detail. Rarely fighting with even a portion of their chapter strength, even the Adeptus Terra value the Mentor's elite, as their seconded expertise work unseen to vanguard humanity's defenses. Often aided by helots, indentured servants drawn from the homeworld of the Mentor's chapter, each Mentor deployed alone works in tandem with his attendants, each armed and trained to defend themselves from traitor Astartes or other dangerous aggressors. Their involvement during the Golance War of 987.M41, among the chapter's finest hours, the Mentors aided the plight of Force Commander Isaiah of the Flesh Eaters during their engagement with the Eldar. Losing 350 Astartes to the Eldari in their attempts to drive the Xenos from Golance. Upon receiving calls for aid, the Mentors swiftly rid the planet of the Eldari, sending a mere 5 Space Marines to turn the tide of the war. Every battle brother, a savant of observation, adaptation, and memorization, many believe such traits to be a genetic mutation of their Ultramarines' primogenitor's proclivity to analyze potential threats, whilst pondering theoretical wargames. Possessing a genius level of military intellect, combined with years of perfected combat experience, whether seconded to Militarum armored regiments, Imperial Navy fighter squadrons, or Space Marine scout companies, their knowledge is well implemented. Extracting useful battlefield data from their allies, which bolsters their already impressive archives, no Imperial organization within the galaxy can compete with the Mentors' repositories of insight. Benefiting from an immensely varied roll of honor due to their collaboration with untold millions of soldiers, each championing disparate military creeds and cultures, the Mentoring Legion embark upon campaigns beyond the remit of even the most venerated Space Marine chapters. Encouraging competition within their ranks to hone their training to new heights of competence, the chapter's close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus hierarchy allows for new innovations whilst field testing experimental weapons and gadgets. Their panoplies, while not as gaudy as many of their contemporaries, often created to the highest quality and outfitted with a variety of potent modifications. Working alone as a prerequisite when assigned to the Chamber Militant of the Ordo Xenos, the Death Watch, Astartes of the Mentors volunteer for solo combat duties whenever possible. Reinforced with Primaris Space Marines and the necessary resources to replicate the surgeries to adapt Firstborn Marines via the Rubicon Primaris, due to the constraints incurred by the Great Rift to Imperial navigation, the Mentors are often relied upon to visit chapters in aiding their integration of second-generation Astartes. Clad in dark green ceramite on their chest, backpacks and pauldron trim, the remainder of their armor is painted white, each Astartes designating their tactical role on their right pauldron with red paint, marking their squad using black high Gothic numerals atop such designs. As a semi-codex compliant chapter, each battle brother indicates their company by painting their helmets using prescribed codex colors. The symbol of their chapter, a stylized red raptor head on a field of white, epitomizes their duty to remain watchful over the subjects of the Imperium. Currently deployed to several campaigns, such as the Battle of Caradon against the Orc Xenos and harrying of Crotwell Biel-Tan, a new wound upon the chapter's honor has recently been inflicted. Their fiefdom of Gorst, invaded by Illuminor Seras of the Necron Sortek dynasty, the Mentors strive to avenge the loss of their fortress complex and theft of their priceless gene seed, once guarded within its domains.